Another golf cart video? Yep, this time, sound system. Like I said in the intro, we're going to do a sound system in our 2015 Club Car Precedent. What I have here and what's in front of you is the Lithium Rhino Soundbar. This is pretty impressive. It's a little bit more than what I was originally planning, but I figured I'd give it a shot. All right, so to start with, obviously the soundbar. On top of the soundbar are two wires, a line out, and the power. Also comes the power cable with the same matching connector. And then a wire loom to cover the wire. Two really substantial brackets. You'll see where those go. A series of fasteners for mounting the brackets in the cart as well as mounting the soundbar to the brackets. Some electrical connectors, fuses, and a fuse box. Now, in my case, I've already installed a fuse box. A little bit different than this one, but yeah, they send you a fuse box with this, but for the most part, you don't need that when you install this. So great job with an addition. Fasteners that attach the fuse box, Allen wrenches for the fasteners that come with it, and a remote control. Let's get started. First things first, let's talk about how this mounts. So on a Club Car Precedent, the roof is held up by these struts. And there is this bracket that will mount to the outside, go across, and there's one for each side. Once this is in place, then the soundbar will mount just below it. So right here is where the soundbar will be. It will be just above your line of sight. This will allow you to reach the controls on the back side of it. The next step is to remove the existing fasteners that are here and install those provided by Lithium Rhino. It's 10 millimeter on both sides. Take all four out and replace them with the Lithium Rhino fasteners that were provided. All right, here on the right-hand side, there's something I want to point out. So when you remove the fasteners, the holes that go through the plastic are plenty large enough for the fasteners that come with the kit. However, the holes through the metal are too small, so we have to drill these out. All right, now that we've got the fasteners in, I drilled them out. The key here is you push them from the inside out. You wouldn't be able to do it from the outside in anyway, but the key here is that you then hang the T-bar brackets off of your new fasteners. So these just slip on like this. And then what you do is you install the nuts that come with it. These nuts are nylock nuts, so once you tighten them up, they will stay. One on each side of the bracket. You tighten them up with a 13 millimeter or 1/2 inch wrench holding the Allen head. I'm going to go ahead and do this side and the other side. Okay, both brackets are in. One thing I did want to point out, and I put some duct tape on here, green duct tape with some marks on it to illustrate where the slots are. So there's a slot here and a slot there that line up with screws in the soundbar itself. This step, in my view, is probably the most awkward. Maybe it'd be better if I had help, but I'm going to try and do this by myself. Pretty straightforward. On the soundbar itself, I also used some green duct tape and marked where the screw locations are. So that'll allow me, when I set this up in place, to put the screws in through the slots. So this is just a visual aid for me. It's just duct tape set in place. I'll pull it off once I get everything screwed in place. So to start with, we're going to do this one here. We're just going to finger start it, because we'll have to reposition it right to left once everything's in here. So there's one side. And then Here's the other side. Again, these are just finger tight because we're going to position it right to left once we get all the screws in. So next we'll do the outermost screw. All right, I've changed the camera angle because I want to point something out. On the top of the soundbar, here's the green duct tape where I marked where the fastener locations were, and there's slots in the T-bars. One thing I found with my cart is that there's enough of a relaxation, if you will, in the roof such that the innermost fastener wouldn't go in. So what I did is I took a ratchet strap, folded my windshield down, and pulled the two sides together just enough to get the innermost fastener in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to center it and tighten the fasteners. So I'm going to tighten the innermost. That's all I'm going to tighten right now. And I'm going to bring these down snug but not tight. I'm going to do both sides. And with the innermost fastener in place, snug but not tight, now I can release the ratchet strap and then tighten down the rest. There we have it. It is installed. So it's amazingly stiff. I was able to get the centermost fasteners in. I removed my ratchet strap. Next is the wiring. So there's a 2-pin SAE connector here on the top that we're going to run the wiring from. We're going to run it to the back, down the pole behind the seat, and into the area where the fuse block is. Another thing to point out, there's this flap. It's a little hard to get off, but inside is a USB port. I'm assuming that's there for charging. It might also be a communication port. We're going to see if it works on Bluetooth, but it's installed. Let's go ahead and start running wiring. Next, we're going to go over the electrical installation. I'm doing it a little bit different than I think they intend it. So the cord that they give you, I went ahead and put it in the split loom. I think the way they've designed it is to go from the front down under the dash, in which you can wire it in there. However, my fuse block is not in the front. My fuse block is in the battery compartment where I did the lithium conversion. So the cable's not quite long enough for what I'm going to do. So what I've done is I have installed zip tie bases, and I'm going to go ahead and connect this and run the wiring and get it pretty much where I want to go. And it's pretty straightforward. A zip tie base allows you to run a zip tie through, and then hold something in with the zip tie. So I'm going to do this all the way along, and we'll route it down the pillar behind the driver's seat. All right, let's go over cord management. So as you can see, I've used zip tie bases and brought this all the way along to the underside of the roof. Next, I ran the wire loom with the wire in it down the post that supports the roof. I ran it then a little bit further out where I drilled a hole. The reason I didn't drill a hole any closer is there's a cavity that is weather protected right underneath the no step sign. So I ran it down through there. I put a rubber grommet on it just to clean it up a little bit. From here, I was able to fish it through in behind the battery compartment. Once in the battery compartment, as you can see, I have another grommet there where I brought the wire out, ran it across a couple of zip tie bases, and then down into my fuse block. If you have the fuse block that came with the kit, you can install that wherever you please. I already had this installed here next to my 12-volt converter that came with the Lithium Rhino conversion kit. So as you can see, I have a 10 amp fuse for the sound system. It's right directly underneath the 5 amp fuse I use for my USB. I'm going to go ahead and put the cover back on this, and we'll go to the next step. Okay, here we are, ready to turn it on for the first time. As you saw, I've got all the wires routed, plugged into the fuse box. Now we're going to go ahead and turn it on. I'm going to turn on the ignition of my cart so it should power this up.
Power on. Bluetooth mode.
Bluetooth mode. All right, so let's go ahead and connect this Bluetooth to our phone. Bluetooth. Turn it on. I'm assuming it'll turn on. Search for new. Oh, there it is. Rhino GX500. Let's connect. Pairing request.
Bluetooth connected.
There we have it. All right. Let's just go right into Spotify and play some music. Let's see if it plays. All right, some other features. There's a headlight off the front that you can change the color. You can turn these lights to be steady instead of pulsing with different colors. Or off. In addition to this, it comes with a remote. The remote does pretty much everything that's here. I don't know if we'll really need the remote. We're going to play with all the different features it has. It's got, I don't know what that is, in a manual. It appears to look like you can turn it on and off, and there's different lights, previous track, next track, and so on. Like I said earlier, this port here is a USB. I haven't checked to see if it's used for a direct connection for audio or if it's just power, but for now, we'll play with it and see how it works. All right, so let's see what the front light looks like. Power is on. Turn on the light. That looks like red. That looks like white. That looks like off. So there you have it. That's the installation of the Lithium Rhino GX500 soundbar. I installed it a little bit different than I think they intended. I used my own fuse box instead of the one that was provided. But overall, it was a pretty straightforward installation. Nice and clean. The sound is really good. Lots of different lighting options. I'm really impressed. I'm glad I installed this soundbar. It sounds great, looks great. It's designed actually to where you can install two of them, one forward, one reverse. Hence why the front lights can either be red or white. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I enjoyed making it. If you do like it, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I always need more subscribers. Hit the bell, you'll be notified of more content. And as always, thanks for watching. Go far with Brent.